Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda, and I am here with my July book haul, I think, mostly, but I'll get to that at the end. So, it kind of feels like I have a lot of books for this, especially compared to last month, because I have been very mindful about my book buying. But it really isn't that bad. And I will say at this point right now, that I didn't have any slips as far as mindful book buying. So I am okay with the purchases of all these books. It looks like, okay, there are 14 books here. I've already read some of them. And it's fine. So I'm going to go through them the order that I purchased them. And at the beginning of the month, on July 1st, I have 4 digital books from Kobo. At this point, I'm very, very rarely buying ebooks, but there was a reason why I got these. These are all classics, and I wanted specific copies. I really like the Penguin classics because I like their footnotes. And yes, I have a lot of them already, but my eyes are old and I need to make the print bigger, which is why I get the ebooks. But on July 1st, I was starting a buddy read with my friend Kim and bookish best friend Shauna of Persuasion by Jane Austen. And I went to start it and I realized I didn't own a digital copy of it. So I immediately had to go do that. And then I also got, because on my Discord, in September, we're going to be doing a group read of The Song of the Lark by Willa Cather. And then in December, we'll do one of my Ántonia. So I got those 2 as well, because I am going to be reading them. And then I also got As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner, because I will be participating in Faulkner in August. So those were all 4 buddy reads and group reads. And I have already read Persuasion. So there is one off my list. Okay, the next book that I got was an audiobook, and it was Eve, How the Female Body Drove, let me get the whole title here, I have it. Eve, How the Female Body Drove 200 Million Years of Human Evolution by Kat Bohannon. This was for the BookTube prize. I've already listened to it. It was a longer one, so it took me a little bit longer, but I actually really liked it on audio. So that was a good one, and I used a Libro credit for that. Now we're going to get into some physical books. I think, yes, all the rest are physical, so now I can hold things up. The first book was actually a pre-order from a while ago that finally came in, and that is the paperback copy of Temple Folk by Aaliyah Bilal, which I have finished. This is a short story collection, and Aaliyah Bilal is part of the African-American Muslim community, so these stories are all set in that community, which I found very interesting because that's not something I read a lot about. So there was a lot to learn. It was a little bit of an up and down collection for me. Some of the stories, I mean, as always, some of the stories work better than others, but this one personally, the stories from a female viewpoint worked better than those from a male viewpoint. I don't know if that's me or her. It just is. It's also a book that I will probably be rereading, so it's going on my keeper shelf. My one complaint is about the actual book and the binding on it. I don't know if you can see this, but I have loose pages. The binding isn't very good on this one. So if you're looking for a copy, you want the paperback, check the binding. Let me get that out of the way here. Okay. The next book I also have already read, and this was my book of the month selection. This was a no-brainer. I jumped on it the moment that I saw it, and that is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I've already talked about this one. This was very successful for me. I had read Long Bright River and really enjoyed it. This one I think I liked even more. It's a really good summer book because it's summer camp and it has all those summer camp kind of feels. It's a literary mystery, so it's not super fast paced. I've seen some people say they think it's a thriller, people who have not yet read it. If you go into it thinking it's a thriller, you're in for a surprise because it's not a thriller. It does not have a thriller pace. It definitely has a literary mystery pace. I really enjoyed it. It was a hit for me, and I'm glad that I read it. So that one is done. And that's the last of the books. Now, that's the last. I haven't read any of the rest of the books. So the next one I have is one that I will be reading next month because it is my Shakespeare book, and that's Cymbeline. So I still don't really know what this is about. It kind of sounds like a little like King Lear. I'm not sure. But we'll find out when I start reading it. I will be doing an immersive read, so I'll be listening to the audiobook as well as listening to it or reading it. So that has worked for me in the past. And in some cases, in some of the Shakespeare plays that I have read in the past, it's been necessary for me to do it. It was not necessary for The Merchant of Venice, but I did it anyway. So I am looking forward to that. And then as usual, to maximize shipping, I got the next two in sort of the alphabetical list of Shakespeare that I don't already have. And those were As You Like It and The Comedy of Errors. And I will read these when I pull their titles out of my little tin. So those are in progress. So the next three books I have are from the currently reading indie press list. So I specifically wanted to make an order this month. For those of you who don't know, the indie press list is something that they do for their patrons on Patreon. So if you are a member of their Bookish Friend group, which is only $5 a month, you get a lot of extra content. In fact, I would say of all the Patreons I'm on, and I'm on a lot, that one is the one that gives you the most bang for your money. But the indie press list is something where they have for each month, they go to an independent bookstore and the store recommends books. And then you are encouraged to order the books from that store. And this month, it was supposed to be Politics and Prose in Washington, D.C., which is a very big bookstore, right? It's like East Coast Pals. I mean, I don't know if that's a fair thing. I do know that it's one of the 12 bookstores in the country that reports to the New York Times bestseller list. So like that's how they get the New York Times bestseller list, is they ask for the sales from, I think, 12 bookstores in the country. And Politics and Prose is one of them. Powell's is also one. But Powell's ghosted them. So they had to scramble, and they went to a very small store that they had used in the past called Booktenders in West Virginia, who were able to step up to the plate and fill that hole that was left in very short notice. And I wanted to be able to support them because they are a very small store and they really delivered. You know, this is not a small thing for the bookstore because they have to deal with a lot of mail orders after that. So it was a big step for Booktenders, and I wanted to support that. So I got three books. This first one was on their best of the rest list, and that is Forever by Pete Hamill. So this kind of sounds a little Addie LaRue-ish. I'm going to read the back of it. This widely acclaimed bestseller is the magical epic tale of an extraordinary man who arrives in New York in 1740 and remains ... forever. Through the eyes of Cormac O'Connor. So I'm guessing he came from Ireland. Cormac O'Connor, granted immortality as long as he never leaves the island of Manhattan, we watch New York grow from a tiny settlement on the tip of an untamed wilderness to the thriving metropolis of today. And through Cormac's, I just want to tell you, this is like dark on dark, so I'm trying to read this. And through Cormac's remarkable adventures in both love and war, we come to know the city's buried secrets, the way it has been shaped by greed, race, and waves of immigration, by the unleashing of enormous human energies above all by hope. So I'm going to put this up here so you can see how hard that is a little bit to read. Anyway, so that immortality aspect is very much like Addie LaRue. It doesn't have that like sold your soul to the devil thing, it sounds like. This sounds much more like a historical, and it has nice big print. So even though the back is hard to read, the inside shouldn't be. This looks like a book that is for me. Now, the other two books that I got were from the main indie press list. This one, Bear by Julia Phillips, I was a little bit on the fence about. And then the same day I listened to the indie press list, I watched Brett, Brett at Brett's Book Stacks, who's proven to be a great recommender for me, mention this book on one of his videos. So I said, that's it. I got to get Bear. This is a story of two sisters. They're an island off the coast of Washington. So they're Pacific Northwest. Though the author is, she lives in Brooklyn. She's not, I don't know, maybe she's from the Pacific Northwest. I don't know, but this sounded really good. And I just, I got the second recommendation from Brett and I'm like, that's good enough for me. And then the third book I got from the indie press list is a historical fiction called Rednecks by Taylor Brown. This is, you know what? Appalachia is having a revival in reaction to the racist Care Bear. So the VP ticket. Racist Care Bear, I think, is the best way to describe him. So in my August TBR pop video, I talked about reading, finally, Hill Women, Demon Copperhead. Sue recommended it to me. Other people said, you must read Demon Copperhead. And yes, I agree. I am just waiting until 2025 to read it, so some hype can die down. But this is also an Appalachian story. It's historical fiction. So Rednecks is a tour de force. A big canvas historical novel that dramatizes the West Virginia mine wars of 1920 and 1921. From the Mattawan Massacre through the Battle of Blair Mountain, the largest armed conflict on American soil since the Civil War, when some 1 million rounds were fired, bombs were dropped on Appalachia, and the term redneck found an unexpected origin story. So I'm all about, especially U.S. history, these historical fiction novels are about lesser known things. Like this is about the West Virginia mine wars. You know, these smaller things people don't know about. I mean, this West Virginia mine wars was a pretty big event. I just knew the basics of it. Another example would be the Tulsa Race Massacre, which I had never heard of until I was an adult. My son was taught about it in school, though, so things are getting better on that front. But I like those kind of novels where it focuses in on a smaller moment in history. So very much looking forward to this one. Then, this is the final book I have here, is another pre-order, and this is also Appalachia. I didn't plan for that, but this one is Smothermoss by Alisa Alering. Let me read the back of this. In 1980s Appalachia, sisters Sheila and Angie couldn't be more different. While their mother works long shifts at the nearby asylum, Sheila cares for their home and keeps to herself even when enduring relentless bullying. Her fearless younger sister Angie is more focused on fighting imaginary zombies and creating tarot-like cards that seem to have minds of their own. So I think there might be a little bit of a supernatural element to this. It's definitely like a thriller sort of book. I'm very interested to see how this goes. And again, we're all going to Appalachia because versus Care Bear doesn't. So we are all going to go to Appalachia. Now, those are all the books I currently have on my list. There is one more book that I expected to have this month. I may still get it. I'm filming this on the 25th of July. I just wanted to get the video done. And I'm not sure if this is going to come in July or August. And that is Katie Lumsden's new book, I have the title here, The Trouble with Mrs. Montgomery Hurst. Now, this came out on July 18th in the UK, and I ordered a copy from Blackwell's. I went in yesterday, in fact, to check the order to see if it had shipped. What happened was at the beginning of this month, we had some fraud on my credit card, so I had to get a replacement card, and I forgot about my pre-orders. So I had to reorder that because the original card didn't go through because it was still the old card. So I'm not considering that a purchase for this month because I actually did this a lot months ago as soon as she announced it. But it does take a little bit longer. It said it would ship within 1 day, but it's coming from the UK. And what it usually happens is it usually goes to like a warehouse in, I think, Kentucky, Appalachia again, and then is sent from there. So the chances are that I won't get it until August, but there is a chance that I will get it in July. So that is the maybe book for my July book haul. So let me go back and go through this again. So I had 14 books that I purchased in July, not including the Katie Lumsden book. However, only 10 of them are being considered going on my TBR because I've already read 4 of them. I've read Persuasion, Eve, Temple Folk, and God of the Woods. And that's what I like to see. I like to see me reading books within a month or 2 of getting them. So this was, even though it's a little bit of a longer list than I had last month, it's definitely a successful month as far as my mindful book buying going on. I will tell you in August, there are a couple things that I will probably lead me to buy a few more books. One is the bookshop.org summer reading challenge will be over, so I'll have my 20% off gift certificate, and there's some books I've set aside for that. Also, my pals thing, so I will get like a coupon for that. I'm going for the blackout, which means I will get my $5 prize voucher, woohoo, and a chance for more prizes. So we'll see. There'll also be I have to update this. I still have some time I haven't put on it. The audiobook reading challenge, although I can use this credit at any time, so I can't guarantee that will be used then. So I'm expecting a little bit of a longer list in August. Plus I have some pre-orders coming in August. I have The Bookstore Wedding by Alice Hoffman. That's a novella, so I expect to read it in August. Mystery Lights by Lena Valencia was one of those I pre-ordered, and I don't know anything about it. That was before I took up mindful book buying. On August 20th, Spirit Crossing by, the camera keeps giving me things. On August 20th, Spirit Crossing by William Kent Kruger will arrive on my Kobo. I will probably have this read by August 21st because I'm clearing time off for Spirit Crossing. It's William Kent Kruger. And then on August 29th, Janice Hallett's new book, The Examiner, is being released in the UK. And again, I have it on order from Blackwell's. However, I have it on the old card. So I kind of have to wait for that to cancel out and then reorder it. So I actually don't expect to get that one until September. That's the way it is. But yes, so I am expecting a little longer, but I am happy with the amount that I had this month. I think that was a good amount. So anyway, that was my July. What did you get this July that you are excited to read or that you read already and really loved? Please let me know down below. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.